I wanted to show how eBooks scroll and resize. Many people seem to be under the impression that eBooks contain a page for each screen they look at, and that every time they hit the forward or back page button that a new page appears. That is indeed the case with fixed layout books, but fixed layouts are a bad idea 95% of the time. They simply can't be read on cell phones, and even 6-inch e-readers have a tough time viewing them more often than not because the text size is fixed and will shrink or grow with the screen like a photograph, depending on the size of the viewing device that you're using. And the person viewing it cannot change the font size or the font. It's best to let a book's material flow with the device size that you're reading it on, and so that the person reading can change the body font and text size to whatever they're comfortable with. Watch as I change the screen size of the viewing app here and how the text breaks at different places depending on the size and ratio of the screen on which device I'm emulating, which is everything from a cell phone to a large iPad. The text must be able to break onto the next screen wherever it wants to. You shouldn't try to inhibit that most of the time. Hitting the next page on your e-reader is the equivalent of hitting the down page button on your keyboard when viewing a web page on the internet. It doesn't take you to a different page, it simply moves the page further up the monitor. Let's look at the HTML pages in an ebook. This is a book laid out in one of several different editors I use for various books. On the left panel is a listing of every HTML page inside the book. Notice it's divided into separate pages for each chapter or book section. Any professionally formatted book will be divided into sections like this. Now see how I'm scrolling through the first chapter here and how long the chapter is. You're doing the same thing when you hit the next page button on your reading device. You're simply scrolling through each section or HTML page, all of which can be any length, and depending on the size of your reading device and the font size you've chosen to read at, the pages will break at various places. To add to this confusion, Amazon, for some silly reason, has chosen to use fake page numbers in some of their reading apps, like the one Fire devices use. So every time you hit the next page button, a new page number comes up. However, these page numbers have no relation to anything in reality. Those pseudo page numbers will be different in every reading device and with the font size you choose to read at. They're simply meaningless. If you tell a friend to look at page 78 in an ebook you have, it will be a completely different page on the other person's reading device. There simply are no real pages in ebooks, like there are in print books, unless the ebook is a fixed layout. And fixed layouts are mostly just good for things like kids' picture books and comic books. I know this subject is incredibly confusing, but I hope this video helps your understanding of the subject at least a little bit better.